What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? For everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Low Country. I'm just old country boy, former football coach that loves to sit around and talk about sports. You, yes, you yourself could have been anywhere in the world tonight on this rainy, muggy, warm Thursday night, but you're here with us, and I definitely and greatly appreciate it. First of all, if you're watching the show after we go live already, make sure you put a what in the word in the comments. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. If you do, we would definitely and greatly, once again, would definitely and greatly, in the words of Umar Johnson, the charm, we would definitely and greatly appreciate it. Woo, boy, let me tell you something. I had to come on here because I was fired up, bro. I don't know if y'all heard the news. You know, I don't know why I said that like Drake. I don't know if y'all heard the news. I don't know if you heard the news, fam, but I'm really cheesing, fam. I don't know if y'all heard the news, but they just released the date. They just released the dates for training camp. So look, it's been a minute since we had the chance to get up and talk. But the fact of the matter is that it's also been a minute since we talked some good Falcons football and some sports in general. So y'all know we got to come on, chop it up with the coaching staff. First of all, I hope y'all been doing pretty good. You know, over here on our side, we've been fair to partly cloudy, just working, probably more than I need to be working, but you know, we're making the best out of it. First of all, we got to show love to everybody that's showing love to us. John Higgins is in here. Says, big country, big low country. He says, what in the world, Bo, what's happening with you? He says, give you my little say on Kirk Cousins. One of those NFLs during the season will lose their quarterback. Okay. And then that's when it'll be Kirk Cousins' time to get up out of here. Okay. I am not mad at that. I am not mad at that. Shouts out to Big John Higgins, man. Shouts out to the family, John. He also says, now for Kyle Pitts, we got to be careful with Kyle Pitts because when he had Matt Ryan, his first year, he did well. He haven't had a quarterback until now, so you know what do we do? But look, that's the beautiful thing about the coaching staff. Also, we got old Silk Legacy in here. Deshaun Coswell. He says, "What in the world, Bo? Yeah, get some. What's going on with you, man? Hope you're doing good, man." Also, C Electricians in here. C Electrician says, "What's going on, Big Low? Man, we over here trying to make it, Bo. Fair." Partly cloudy, my friend. Fair to partly cloudy. We also got 95, the great, the wise man. 95 north of the building. What's going on, Berto? Hope you're doing good, man. Y'all shouts out to Berto. Great content creator. Make sure that y'all, if y'all haven't yet, make sure that you go to 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Great content over there, man. Him and my homeboy Bro Talk. Great content and just a great person in general. Shouts out to Mini 95 North. This is from your Uncle Big Low. Congratulations, Mini 95 North, for the graduation. I know that you're going to go on in life. So continue to be great. Continue to do you, brother. We got Southside Ricky in here. Southside Ricky in here. He says, what's going on, big homie? Man, we trying to make it. Keon James is in here. Jeff Holton's in here. What in the world, Bo? Hope you're doing good tonight. DSGB Hall's in here. You know it's a party now. Got DSGB Hall in here. It's organic. What in the world, Bo? Biggs World's in here. What's going on, man? So, look at here. Y'all know we went to OTAs. We went to OTAs, what was that, a couple of weeks ago? Coach Tyler, Coach Christine, Uncle Steve. You know, I had my whole curb your enthusiasm moment, right? You know, should I stay at the bottom of the hill and get rained on, or should I go to the top? Now, so moving forward, it was one of those cases where moving forward, you know, we going through mini camp and we're seeing all the, you know, the feel good clips and everything. Michael Penix, he's out here. I'm okay. Y'all don't pick on me. Y'all don't pick on me. I'm finna try to attempt, you know, a left hand throw, you know. And if you're at home, you know, you could also try to attempt a left hand throw. I mean, so I'm not looking crazy by myself. But Michael Penix is out here thing. That wasn't too bad. He was out here doing his thing. Okay, yeah. Michael Penix out here doing his thing, making all these throws, these left-handed throws and everything, throwing the ball all over the field, you know, slow motions. Oh, Doesn't it look? Are they going to let the public come to training camp once again? It's going to be one of those situations where, they're going to do like they did last year. They released the schedule today. I'll be doggone. And shouts out to all the Falcons family that hit me up. It was like I don't know, but I've never seen everyone so excited about knowing that training camp starting and knowing the dates and everything. So I had a lot of people hit me up, ask me when I was going, ask all types of questions. If you've never been to training camp before, training camp is a different type of experience. You might say, why you say that, Lo? The reason why I say that, and I apologize if my screen is freezing. I think I just got too much energy for the bandwidth in here. Uncle Steve suggested his internet to me, and I tried to use it, and it's not working too good. But anyway, if my screen is freezing, I apologize. But if you've never been to training camp before, as a fan, it is a great experience. I'm telling y'all, if you've never been to training camp before, as a fan, it is a top-notch experience. You might say, why do you say that, Big Lo? All right. The reason why I say that, first of all, you're gonna be propped up on the hill in the sun, right? It doesn't matter if practice starts at 9 o'clock. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be hot. By the time 10 o'clock comes, it's gonna be hot. Now that might not sound good to a lot of folks, but you're gonna be propped up on the hill in the sun with a whole bunch of strangers. But everybody's there for one particular purpose. They're ready to see their favorite team come out, and they're ready to see a lot of talent come out that they hadn't had a chance to see in an Atlanta Falcons uniform. They're excited to see the Jalen Walkers of the world. They're excited to see if the speed James Pierce is real. They're excited to see if Billy Bowman is that much of a dog where, he's going to make a legitimate difference on this defense. So those are some of the reasons. But the main reason, I won't be completely honest, it's cool to see players get a chance to get some self and have some sort of interaction with some players. But all of this right here, seeing people like the It's Organics, the Big John Higgins, the Red Swarms, seeing folks like that out there, all of us are talking about the season that's coming up, and we're excited about what's going to happen, who's going to be starting, who's still going to be on the team by the time the season comes around, who's going to be the sleeper, who's going to be the surprise guy. Having all of those conversations is ramping up the football season, right? And that's the beautiful thing. I made so many friends at training camp, people that I initially didn't know, but then whenever I go out there and we're watching, seeing what's going on, everybody's excited. By the time you leave, you'll be like, oh, man, I got 5 new friends. That's the beautiful thing about training camp. So, look, I'm definitely excited about it. My homeboy Yuri's in here off of Twitter. I see he very much love to you, Bo. We also got our first Superman. Much love to you, Bo. Hope you're doing good. There it is. It popped up. He says, all love, brother. Da, da, da. That's a Superman tat. Dwayne, he done hit me up already. He's already making his plans. But, Bo, I'm telling you something. Training camp, as a fan, if you've never been before, or if it's been a while since you've been, training camp is an experience that you legitimately got to experience. Make sure that you're hydrated. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that off the top. 2 years ago, when we went to training camp, a lady had a medical emergency. Big Low ran right until the paramedics came. Make sure that you're hydrated if you come. But training camp is one of the best experiences for a fan. King Rich is in here, says, what's good, Bo? He says, I'm ready for the seat, boy. I'm ready for training camp. Daniel Berry Sports is in here. Much love to you, man. It's Organic says training camp is a what's that? Uh lituation is hot. Yes, 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 it is a little. That's it. We're all there to see our squad. Red Swarm, he says, yes, sir. He says, man, you got me fired up right now, coach. Man, that's the beautiful thing about it, bro. That's the beautiful thing about training camp. And a lot of people don't realize that it it goes on for what 3.5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Shouts out to Scott Kennedy. If you've never had a chance to watch his show, he normally comes on in the mornings. But Scott Kennedy, he's a master at scouting. Shouts out to Scott Kennedy. He has his show in the mornings. Even Scott Kennedy said he's going to come out there for training camp. He writes for Falcons Sports Illustrated. One of the most respected guys that's out here. But he said that he's going to be out here for training camp. Or he said that he might come out for a day because, he has things that he has to do. But fact of the matter is, guys, it's just a beautiful experience. Now, the question is, what are we going to be experiencing at training camp? Right? Some things that we saw all off season, we were thinking that it was going to be one thing, but it turned out not to be thing that we thought it was going to be. For example, we seen Kyle Pitts, Michael Penix at the golf event with Arthur Blank. Everyone just came to the conclusion. We drew the conclusion. It looks like it's a situation where Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts are locked in. That might be Michael Penix's guy. He might actually use Kyle Pitts the way that Matt Ryan used Kyle Pitts his rookie year. Then we get to OTAs and mini camps. Kyle Pitts isn't on the field. Every time I look on Bleacher Report, the Falcons are open to a trade for Kyle Pitts. They're open to trading Kyle Pitts out. Then you also go back and you look at the end of the season interview that Terry Fontenot did, and Terry Fontenot says, yes, we feel like Kyle Pitts has not lived up to the expectations. So that's one thing that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be thinking, hey, is Kyle Pitts going to be here? Will he even be there by the time training camp comes? July 24th, the first day. Those are the things that we're thinking about. I'll to y'all ever since all of these rumors have come out about Kyle Pitts. I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think? Do you feel like Kyle Pitts is a guy that'll be here long term? If you feel like he will be here in the Atlanta Falcons uniform, wearing the red and black, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's one of those cases where that's not going to happen, put a 2 in the chat. I legitimately want to know what you're feeling and what you're thinking. I want to know. Also, we got another Superman chat. Brother Red Swarm says, thank you for the content, Coach Lowe. I'm counting on you to hold Big Q to his for his ain'ts. He says he's counting on him to hold Big Q 12 and 15. Wait, what? What 12 what? What Big Q think we're gonna have 12 of? What he think the Saints gonna have? I know he didn't think the Saints gonna have 12 wins. Okay. I ain't even going down there. That's a Superman chat. Oh, well, I definitely appreciate it, Red Swarm. Much love to you, but nah, Big Q ain't finna get no 12. Jerry G, y'all ain't finna get no 12 wins. Maybe in 2 seasons. You might get 6 wins one year. That's pushing it. And 6 wins another year. You ain't been getting no 12 wins. I don't unless y'all go to the UFL. Brian Moses in here says, what up, Low? 3 Yeet. Shouts out to in the mighty 3 Geek Nation. Shouts out to Coach Ronnie, Coach Padre, and the rest of 3 Geek Nation. King Richard says, so no moonshot. Boy, you take moonshot out there if you want to, bro. I don't know what. Shoot. Look at here. Doggone Yuri. Shouts out to Yuri. Yuri already got me in trouble because Yuri doggone posted pictures of the moonshine on the Rise Up Tour. Shouts out to the Rise Up Tour. Shouts out to T, Jack Spade, everybody over there. Whenever we took the Rise Up Tour bus out to Birmingham, Yuri's like, hey, I got this moonshine for Big Low. I sit here like, Yuri, I'm telling you better stop. You keep flashing that moonshine. I don't drink moonshine, Bo. You got everybody coming up to me, hey, Lo, drink some of this with me. I'm not a drinker. I drink this, Lo. I'm like, you can have it. Mama Country make moonshine. Like I said, it might be moonshine, it might be water. You know, it might be water, it might be moonshine. If you see me smiling, that just means I'm happy to see. So I said, if you feel like the Falcons are going to keep Kyle Pitts and he's going to be on the roster by the time the 2025 training camp starts, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like that's not the case, put a 2 in the chat. Biggs Worlds, he's the only one who says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and step out on a limb. And he put a 1 in the chat. He feels like it's one of those situations where, you know, this is where we're at. And he feels like, you know, we're going to legitimately have Kyle Pitts on this team. And I don't know, guys. I just feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know. It feels awkward to me, right? It feels like it's one of those situations where I want to believe that Kyle Pitts will be on this team and that'll be a whole nother weapon, but this feels very Julio Jones-ish. It feels very Julio Jones-ish. Y'all, I don't know if y'all remember it, or even if you were part of the coaching staff back in 2021, the season. I kept saying, hey, I don't know if Julio Jones is going to be on this team, guys. I'm not seeing any promo or anything with him on there. But Julio Jones, he's kind of went dark. He took the Falcons off of his social media, and I just don't know if this is a situation where, I don't know if this is where we're at, right? So moving forward, it's 2025 and Kyle Pitts is a ghost. I don't know if this is a situation where, Kyle Pitts is going to be on this team, guys. I know they say he has a foot injury, but doggone it, I would at least like to see him some promo or something. I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But let's see what everybody else is thinking. I said put a 1 in the chat if you feel like Kyle Pitts is going to be on this team in 2025. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like that's not the case. So Jalen, he put a 1. He feels like that is the case. King Richie pays attention to everything. Now, if King Richie says it, there must be something to it. Silk Legacy, he says 1. He feels like, Kyle Pitts is going to be on this team. It's organic. And Jamal, ATL 404, they all say, hey, it's going to happen. Brian Moses, he also says, hey, it's going to happen. Also, Douglas Farrington says, you have to be honest, like Julio was not going to lie. And look, I mean, I definitely understand that. But, I mean, I also understand that it's one of those situations where, I mean, maybe the Falcons already have a trade, almost fully set up or almost in place, but they have to look and say, hey, Kyle, I just need you to stay healthy. You don't be out here running around and messing around and get hurt because this trade going to fall through. So I don't know. Bernard feels like Kyle Pitts is going to be on the Falcons in 2025. I'm just kind of stuck. I don't know. I don't know. Shouts out to Bobby Bottles in here. He says, Coach Lowe, the fan base ain't been fair to Pitts. Look at how they got. Look who they got quarterback playing the last few years. Desmond Ridder, Desmond Winter, Taylor Heineke, and Kirk Cousins, who forgot where the red zone is. I mean, you ain't telling no lies, bro. I can't knock you there. You're definitely right. And also Arthur Smith. I mean, it's called a buck a buck. Arthur Smith was the head coach / offense coordinator. Doug Ragone, he made sure all the Uber Eats orders were right. So, I mean, all of that was a negative thing going towards Kyle Pitts. But if we also look, whenever Kirk Cousins was lighting things up, the National Tight End Day, the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's when Kyle Pitts legitimately went off. That's whenever he played like the Kyle Pitts we were looking for. And everybody was saying, where is this the other 17 weeks of the season or the other 16 weeks of the season? Right? Now, I think and Bobby, you make a great point. I don't feel like the fan base has been completely fair to Kyle Pitts. I feel like we're expecting this, but I feel like we might need to temper our expectations, right? Yes, he was a heck of a force at the University of Florida, and I mean he almost broke Mike Ditka's rookie tight end record as a rookie, but at the end of the day, he's still a tight end, right? Like, I mean, am I wrong? If you get, I mean, most tight ends get what, 7? I mean, a good tight end gets 700-800 yards. What do you have, like 600 yards, if I'm not mistaken? And if I'm also not mistaken, he finished the season healthy, but he's still a tight end, right? I mean, so. But you also look at it on the other side of the spectrum. He got drafted 4th overall. I mean, you get drafted 4th overall, Bo. You kind of look. You got to bring it, right? You think about it. You got drafted over Michael Parsons. You got drafted over Jamar Chase. You got drafted over Penei Sewell. I mean, so look. I mean. All I know is that the people that's in charge, people as in Terry Fino, the people as in Raheem Morris, says that Kyle Pitts hasn't lived up to expectations. Now, if you're doing your quarterly review, if you're doing your annual review at work, and you sit down and talk with the boss man say, hey, Bo, you ain't living up to the expectations. If boss man say that, you might want to start looking for another job, or you might need to tighten up, Bo. You might need to pull your bootstraps up and, see what you can do about getting right. So, I mean, moving forward, I don't know what period Kyle Pitts is in. I don't know if he's like, hey, I might as well just go ahead and go somewhere else. Like this, I've been here for 4 years, and this obviously hasn't worked. I might as well go somewhere else. And you think about it, every year he gets 1 more touchdown. First year, 1 touchdown. Second year, 2 touchdowns. Third year, 3 touchdowns. Last year, 4 touchdowns. So I guess he's on pace to get 5. I mean, myself, for me, I think a successful year for Kyle Pitts will be 8 touchdowns. I mean, I think with you being a 4th overall pick, you can get me a touchdown every other game. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I mean, I feel like you can give me a touchdown, every other game. I mean, at that point, but it's one of them situations to each his own. Zay in the Bag's in here. Shouts out to Zay in the Bag. Also, Jamal, he says, we don't have anyone on the roster to replace Kyle Pitts. Snaps as he draws the attention of the defense for guys like Drake London, Ray McLeod, and Darnell Mooney. So I'm glad that you bring that up, Jamal. So route concepts. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. So route concepts are made to beat coverages, right? We can't just say that one player is drawing attention because and I hate to throw this word out here, but in the words of Arthur Smith, due to the variables, right? If you look at the variables, we can't just say, hey, this guy is just drawing coverage every time. I mean, just drawing coverage, drawing double teams every time because he is who he is. If that was the case, Drake London would be drawing coverage every time. But coverage is it a situation where routes are meant and route concepts are meant to beat coverages. It's just simple and plain. Coverages are meant to beat route concepts. So, I understand where you're coming from, Jamal, and maybe I'm just looking at it like a coach, but I would venture to say that Joshua Simon can do the same thing that Kyle Pitts has done the last couple of years. Am I wrong for saying that? Like, I feel like Joshua Simon. I tell you what, let's look up each other. Let's look up the stats of each person. Let's look up Kyle Pitts stats, his last year in college, and let's look up Joshua Simon's stats. And yes, I know that Kyle Pitts ran like a 4.540, if I'm not mistaken. Joshua Simons ran like a low 4.6. Now, I can also tell you that Joshua Simon's football speed is different. But let's look at Kyle Pitts stats first, his last year at the University of Florida. And let's kind of compare them. Because one thing that I've learned, especially after being, in the world of recruitment and things like that, you kind of get a name. If you build a name up, if you build up a certain amount of popularity, that name will follow you, right? So let's see here. So Kyle Pitts stats at the University of Florida. So 2020. Wow, the crazy thing is that he had more catches. He had more catches his sophomore year. So sophomore year, he had 54 catches for 649 yards, 5 touchdowns. But he played 13 games his sophomore year. His junior year, he played only 8 games. He had 43 catches, 770 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So, look, that's pretty doggone good for a tight end. Now, if we look at Joshua Simon, the undrafted free agent from the University of South Carolina, let's look at his stats. Now, I know Joshua Simon, I know that he, like I said, I know he's a little bit smaller than Kyle Pitts. I also know that he's a little bit slower than Kyle Pitts. So Joshua Simon, he's 6'5". Okay, wait a minute now. They about the same size. 6'5", 240. So last year, Joshua Simons had 40 catches, 519 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's pretty much the equivalent of Kyle Pitts' his sophomore year. I know Joshua Simons runs like a 4.6, but his football speed is different. So, to say that you don't have someone who can replace Kyle Pitts and what he did last year, if we look at Kyle Pitts' stats from last year, 47 catches, 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. I feel like we could get somebody else that can do that. Am I wrong? I could very well be wrong. Shouts out to Red Swan. Red Swan says, Coach Lowe, do you think of Keenan Allen to go with Drake and Mooney? It's getting late, so the price is down. Just like your thoughts. Also, that's a Superman chat. I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like with the talent that we have on the team now, I'm not even really going after a Keenan Allen or another wide receiver. The only thing I will go after is a wide receiver with some speed. I feel like the Nick Nashes and the Casey Washingtons of the world, along with the Darnell Mooneys and the Ray McLeods and the Drake Londons, and I mean Kadero Hodge. I mean, people are forgetting how good Kadero Hodge is. I'm not really looking at trying to get another wide receiver, especially in a situation where you're trying to, even though it's getting late for him, he's still going to get broke off. So I ain't really looking at trying to get a big name wide receiver right now. I want to see what these young Thundercats talking about. So I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. I do want to ask the chat what y'all think. Do y'all feel like it's a situation where we don't have anyone on the roster to replace Kyle Pitts, who gave us what, 40 catches? Wait a minute, what is it? Who gave us 47 catches, 600 yards, and 4 touchdowns last year? If you feel like we don't have anybody on the roster to replace him, put a 3 in the chat. 3. If you feel like that's the case where we don't have anybody on the roster to replace him, put a 4 in the chat. I just want to know what y'all thinking. Shouts out to Zay in the bag in here chilling out with us. Old Jerry G. Ron Thomas chilling out with us from Facebook. What's going on, Ron? Hope you're doing good tonight, bro. Jerry G says, appreciate the birthday wishes. Big Low and everyone. Yes, I've been on the Falcons fans a lot. It's my thing. But my birthday on Saturday, much bigger than that, man. Much love to you, Jerry G, bro. How much you? How old you turning, Jerry? 18? Turning 18? Also, I need y'all to do a country boy favor. Make sure that you hit that like button. You hit that like button for me. I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. Definitely. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. But yes, if you feel like it's a situation where, and I apologize. What did I say? Did I say if you feel like we do have someone on this roster that could replace Kyle Pitts, put a 3 in the chat. And if it's a situation where you feel like we don't, put a 4 in the chat. But if y'all could remind me. But yeah, if you feel like we do have someone on the roster that could replace Kyle Pitts, put a 3 in the chat. If not, put a 4 in the chat. Me, myself, I feel like we have someone that could replace. I believe between Charlie Warner, I believe between Joshua Simon, you could get 47 catches and 600 yards. I legitimately believe that. So shouts out to King Layden in here, or King Landon in here. Sterling Woods, much love to y'all fellas. Dre the Boxers in here, much love. They say 3. They feel like we got somebody that could replace him. Now, Red Swarm says 4. You don't think we have anybody that could replace Kyle Pitts as of right now. And I understand that, bro. Kyle Pitts, he's a talent. There's not a lot of people out here that, that's running with Kyle Pitts. And I know a lot of people feel like it's one of those situations where, hey, whenever he fully applies himself and he's fully healthy, and because we still don't know if he's recovered from the injury or not. Whenever he's fully healthy, he's somebody who you can't keep up with. But look here, I can also tell you that Jerry G, who just confirmed that he just turned 18 years old. Bo, I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. That look, whenever you get to a certain age, people feel like whenever you get old, and Kyle Pitts, he's a young Thundercat. Trust me, he ain't nowhere close to my situation. But as you do get older, people feel like, hey, you just develop these pains out of nowhere. It's not a situation where you develop pains out of nowhere. It's a situation where you just don't recover from the tweaks and pains that you do get. That's all that is. You just develop tweaks and pains as you continue to live. And it's one of those situations where you just can't do it like you used to. You can't recover the way that you used to. Shouts out to Coach Christy Lewis in the chat. Coach Christy, got a chance to meet Coach Christy at the meet and greet in Birmingham a couple weeks ago. Great people, man. Much love to Coach Christy. Tony Wright says, look here, we have Ray McLeod. We don't need Keenan Allen. And like I said, you also got Casey Washingtons of the world. Shouts out to Casey. And I don't think I had a chance to talk to y'all ever since. So we went to that meet and greet out there in Birmingham. And, I took a picture with Casey Washington. Casey Washington, I was like, what's up, Casey? Dapping him up and everything. We threw the A's up. And do y'all see what's wrong with this A? Y'all see what's wrong with this A right here? Casey Washington, he threw his A up like this. I like, Casey, what you doing, Bo? Like, come on, man. What you doing? Casey said, what's going on, Lo? What's the issue? I said, Casey, throw that A up again. Casey threw that A up. I said, Casey, come on now. What you doing? Like, what? Man, I can't put that picture out like this. He said, what's going on, Big Lo? What's wrong? I said, man, you got to put that thumb in the middle. If you throwing that A up, you got to put that thumb in the middle. Casey, what you doing, Bo? He's like, my bad. He apologized profusely, and he put that thumb up. But I better tell you something, Bo. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why you come to training camp. That's one of the reasons why you come to training camp, because those are the types of interactions that you get a chance to have with the players. You get a chance to come out here, and I remember the year before last, the last time we had a chance to go out to training camp, I was picking on Grady Jarrett. Shouts out to Grady, man. Even though he ain't here no more, he's still a Falcon. He's always going to be a Falcon. But they asked him, what's his favorite snack? And he said salt and vinegar chips. And I was picking on him about that. I was like, Grady, like salt and vinegar potato chips? Like who says their favorite snack is salt and vinegar potato chips? If y'all feel free to put your favorite snack in the chat, but salt and vinegar potato chips? Really? So, so I was picking on him about that, and he was like, man, shoot, what's your favorite snack? I said, I was like, shoot, Doritos. Give me some nacho cheese Doritos. I'm in there like, swim, bro. I don't know what you talking about. You ain't finna get me on my spot. But we went back and forth about that. That's why you come to training camp, y'all. If you get a chance, y'all make sure that y'all come to training camp. That's right, Red Swan. Those A's, they gotta have some legs on the ball. Come on now. There you go. So I know another thing that we actually thought was going to happen. We thought Kirk Cousins was going to be gone by the time training camp came around, and yeah, it's looking like that might not be the case. I mean, everybody was, and shouts out to 21 Carey. Oh man, all right, Dex. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Which Little Debbie snacks, Dex? I need to know which Little Debbie snacks you talking about, because we might be on the same page. You talking about Little Debbie snacks now? Okay. Southside Ricky, peanut butter and salt. I can't do the saltines. I can't do the saltines now. Now you talk about peanut butter and Ritz crackers, we in there. But saltines, I can't really rock with that. And then Red Swarm says, he goes on to say, favorite snack, Snickers bars frozen in the freezer. Now, you might as well go ahead and do the Snickers ice cream bars. Now, if you're doing the Snickers ice cream bars, you up there. But yeah, everybody feel free to put your favorite snack in the chat. Also, make sure that you hit that like button. You hit that like button for me. I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. But like I was saying, it's one of them situations where Sterling says looks like they're keeping Kirk with no change. Yes, it's crazy how things change, right? But moving forward, everybody was talking about how Kirk Cousins was going to get traded, and shouts out to 21 Carey. Congratulations, Carey, for not getting for not being banned or being blocked off the T Will show anymore. You must have brought the croissants. But the fact of the matter is that moving forward now, you're in a situation where Cleveland Browns didn't come calling. Pittsburgh didn't come calling. The Indianapolis Colts still hadn't called. Daggone. Minnesota, they ain't trying to bring that old thing back. Now we're in a situation where it's like, daggone, it's looking like you're going to have to ride it out there, Bo. Like, why? You made all that fuss, and you had everybody up in arms. Now it's looking like you might have to ride it out. So the crazy thing is that I feel like, and I don't know, I don't know if this is a situation where it just made me think about Coach Roney, right? Whenever I'm in professional situations, Coach Roney, she's gonna be in my ear, right? She's gonna give me her opinion on what I should or shouldn't do. I feel like Kirk Cousins' wife might have got hold of him. I feel like she might have told him, like, hey, you're getting paid $50 million a year. I understand that you want to play, but this isn't a bad situation, Kirk. I mean, there's still a possibility that you could get traded during the season, like Coach John Higgins said a little bit earlier. There's also a possibility where you could just stay where you're at. We're here near my family, right? And you could just literally get paid $50 million to watch the team do whatever they do, to watch Michael Penix do whatever he does. So I don't know. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see the title, but I feel like Kirk Cousins, he's the football version of Lil Wayne. I feel like there are parallels there, and these are the random things that I think about while I'm working claims every day. While I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so Kirk Cousins, aging quarterback who, is coming off of an injury. He got an opportunity, but he didn't make the best of it. He got hurt. Now he's going back saying, hey, I was hurt. I didn't realize how bad I was hurt. It's crazy how the goalpost keeps moving, right? The goalpost keeps going backwards. But the crazy thing is, after a while, you just kind of have to realize, hey, it's that time. I'm not the guy that I used to be. Back in the day, I used to be a bad man. I mean, I know I've had my moment. I had a moment on the basketball court. I was mentoring some young Thundercats, and I mean, they was talking. We was running 2-on-2s, and I beat them 2 times already. And they was like, man, then they got their feelings. It was hot, it was in Southeast Georgia, and I was like, well, shoot, look at here. If it's a situation where y'all want to take it down there, I mean, we can do it. So last game, I didn't hold back. I went ahead and beat them. Then I went in the house, passed out. Coach Roney called the ambulance. Everybody was there, and I'm sitting there like, I'm like, oh man, whew, can't catch my breath. Coach Roney like, oh my goodness, is he having a heart attack? What's wrong with him? So that was the moment when I realized I'm not the same guy that I used to be. So whenever I play the young Thundercats now, I'm like, yeah, I run y'all in this horse. I run y'all in this horse. Look, we could do whatever we need to do. Dex Flash, he said, hey, those Nutter Butters, pause, strawberry shortcakes and Clay's donut. I'm not mad at any of those snacks, Dex. Ron Thomas said he likes the Twizzlers. Silk Legacy says cheesecake. You can't beat some good cheesecake. I ain't gonna lie to you. Dre Boxer says Reese's Cups. Cheesecake after dinner, though. I ain't mad at you on that one, Bo. Am I the only one that thinks Cheesecake Factory cheesecake isn't good? I shouldn't have said that out loud. I'm pretty sure a lot of people gonna come for me. But now, Sterling Wood says, okay, so you have to tell me how this reminds you of Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne Carter 6 came out, right? I don't know if my homeboy Berto's still watching, but Lil Wayne Carter 6 came out. It's one of the situations where Berto said, he hit me up. He said, hey, coach, I know Lil Wayne's your favorite rapper. Lil Wayne's not the same guy that he used to be. I was like, look, I understand that. I listened to the Carter 5. I still bump the Carter 5 to this day because there's some songs on there that I still really like. But it's not hitting on the Carter. It's not a hit. It's not hitting on the original Carter. It ain't hitting on the cops is watching. It's unfaithful. This ain't loyal. Because ain't lawyers and everybody saw you because it ain't hitting on that, right? It ain't hitting on I'm way more fly than you. That's right. Yeah, I'll take your time from you. Nights you wanna spend all night with me. She wanna wake up with Big Low Country. They ain't hear no that, right? But let's acknowledge that Lil Wayne is still a dog. Lil Wayne is still a dog. But Bo, I don't know if you're a starter anymore. You might want to come up off the bench. Lil Wayne, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is still a really good quarterback when he's healthy. Kirk Cousins is still a really good quarterback. What was that? 7, 8 months ago? And through the month of Kirktober, Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards in a game. Kirk Cousins is still a really good quarterback. But is it still one of those situations where you can rely on Kirk Cousins to be a starter for 17 games? Kirk Cousins needs to acknowledge, hey, big dog, might be time to come up off the bench. I mean, and look, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. That might legit be the case where I'm wrong. Shouts out to Lou Algier. What's going on? Hope you're doing good tonight, fam. Much love to you, man. Hope Tyler's doing good out there, Bo. Now, like I said, I might be wrong. Dre Boxer says, I put it like this: the producer beat selection was not it. Wayne always have them. He always have some bars. Yeah, Wayne got bars. But see, the thing is that the difference between this Wayne and the difference between this Wayne and the Carter 2, you know, the difference between this Wayne and the Carter 3 is that, I mean, let's be honest, guys. There are a whole bunch of good rappers out there. There are a whole bunch of good rappers out there. Lil Wayne, he's my favorite rapper in my mind. He's the best rapper ever. Because who else has done it this consistently? Right? I mean, Jay-Z, you know, he had his big era from what, like 95 to 2005? Right? I mean, I remember the Blueprint 3 came out in 2009, and that's when everybody was like, oh, all right, Jay, okay, just go do your thing. Right? I mean, you know, Biggie, Tupac, unfortunately, they wasn't here long enough. Nas had what, a good 10-year run where he was, you know, that guy mainstream. I mean, Nas is still dropping music to this day. But Wayne been dropping since what, 98? Since 98 and steady. I mean, steady for a long time, steady getting better. But after a while, just like you said, the music and the production is not the same. The beautiful thing about Wayne is Wayne he knew that it was a situation where, hey, if I jump on this Mrs. Officer with this very catchy hook with Bobby Valentino on it, I know it's gonna rock. You know, opposed to, I mean, you know, the Carter 6. And mind you, there's a whole bunch of songs on there that I really like. But at the end of the day, musically, aesthetically, it's not hitting on the Carter. It's not. And I say all that to come back to Park My Plane. Kirk Cousins, it's not hitting on 2023. It's not. It's not hitting on that 2023. It's not hitting on the beginning of that 2024 season. You know, I mean, it's at the part where we know that we can't trust you, right? And I'm not talking about as a person. I'm not talking about like, you know, just, I mean, which is definitely a huge factor. I'm not talking about, hey, you know, I don't believe that Kirk Cousins ain't gonna lie. I'm not saying that. You know, whatever his moral disposition is, that's on him. I'm talking about as a football player. Because how many games was that when Kirk Cousins, what was it? He had 9 interceptions or 10 interceptions and 1 fumble. What was it, like 6 games, 7 games or something like that? And that's what lost you the division. Lil Wayne, Kirk Cousins. I mean, look, y'all tell me if y'all feel like I'm wrong. Put a 1 in the chat. If you see what I'm talking about, if you see what I'm kicking to you, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to know. I just want to know. Silk says, for bats. What in the world? Jamal said that peanuts to an elephant was, oh yeah. I like that hip hop with Big X Plug. That was my joint. Coach Ron is getting tired of hearing that. Well, Amy says, Tupac is the best, hands down, king of rap. I mean, and look, it's you know, it's a J the Will. Like, you know, I be bumping pop. You know, I got a mix. You know, just straight pop. You know, heaven ain't too hard to find. Thug Passion. You know what I'm saying? You can't see me. You know, Thug Mansion. I mean, look, I be bumping all that. You wonder why they call you? You know, I'm bumping all of it. You know. But at the end of the day, you know, whenever, you know, I'm feeling, and maybe it's because that's where I was at in life. You know, whenever I was in my prime, you know, I was at the top of my game. I was, you know, mid-20s, you know, still physically at the top of my game, you know, charismatic and sharp as a thumbtack, you know, flyer than a pelican. I thought, and you know, that was the music that I listened to during that time period. It was Lil Wayne. So, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me a while to listen to the album because everybody was saying, "Yeah, Wayne, you should sit this one out, big dog." Because you know, I didn't want to see, you know, one of the guy who I think is the top, you know, drop, you know, let me down. Shouts out to Let Us Pray here. What in the world, Bob? What's going on with you, man? Hope you're doing good tonight, family. Also, we got Dexter Vlash. Dexter says, listen, man, Eminem is it. Like I said, to each his own. To each his own. I respect all of these guys because at the end of the day, all of them could rap better than me. You know what I'm saying? I respect all of these guys. I just respect the art of rap and hip hop. I respect all of these guys. So, I mean, but it's like I said, and the whole point that I was making is sometimes you have to acknowledge when it's your time. And the crazy thing is that everyone has came across their time. Have y'all seen the all of the pictures that people are putting up on social media? They're like Lil Wayne in the Carter 6, and it's a picture of like past greats with teams that you forgot they even played for because they were in their decline. It was examples of like Patrick Ewing on the Supersonics, or Akeem Olajuwon with the Toronto Raptors, or I don't know, Joe Montana with the Chiefs. I didn't see that one, but that's an example of it. And they're like, yeah, this is Lil Wayne with the Carter 6. And I mean, Kirk Cousins at the second half of last year with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, and like I said, I could be wrong. If you feel where I'm coming from, put a 1 in the chat. But if it's one of those situations where you disagree with me, put a 2 in the chat. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know if y'all remember me saying this. I was saying the whole time where it's like, hey, I would actually prefer to keep Kirk Cousins because, first of all, I feel like Kirk Cousins, you know, he's going to play the politics, and he's going to actually do whatever he needs to do to try to get on the field himself. And God forbid, I'm gonna knock on this thing right here. I'm pretty sure Shaka Khan, if she hears it, she's gonna start barking. God forbid, if it's one of those situations, if Michael Penix gets hurt, I hope he doesn't. But if Michael Penix gets hurt, it's one of those situations where, hey, you'll have a backup in Kirk Cousins who come off the bench, who give you features, because that's where your boy is at right now. Features. That's where Wayne is at. Just give me a hot 16 feature, Wayne. That's all I need. You know, I need you and Lloyd and you. She's fine too, but I want you straight off the that's what I need. That's what I need. I need you and I don't know. Love in This Club remix. But I mean, at this point in time, Bo, I mean, the albums is not, just and look, the crazy thing is that if he comes out with 7, it could legitimately be out of this world. And it's the same thing with Kirk Cousins. It could legitimately be out of this world. For example, Kurt Warner with the Arizona Cardinals. He came back and he went to New York and he went to, wait a minute, he go to New York first and went to Arizona. I can't remember, but either way, Kirk Cousins with the Arizona Cardinals. He switched teams up. He was out of this world. You legitimately never know. Dre Murphy's in says, "What it do, beloveds? How y'all beloveds doing and feeling on this Thursday night? Man, we doing and feeling good, but I hope you're doing good tonight." Dre Boxer says, B-Day twin pack. What's going on, Dre? What Dre? Dre done turned 19. My other homeboy in here, he turned 18. Old Jerry, and then old Dre, he done turned 19. Boy, y'all some young Thundercats in here. Sterling Wood says, Kirk still would not say that he's 100%. I mean, but the thing is, Sterling, is that's what he should have done before. He should have acknowledged that he wasn't 100% before. I understand that you're trying to instill hope and, instill, positive things in the fan base. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is Atlanta. I mean, and what's one of our favorite sayings? One of our favorite sayings is, keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Keep it a buck, Bo. Ain't no need to lie. In the words of Kendrick Lamar, you ain't got to lie to kick it. You ain't got to try so hard. Christy Lewis in here. Christy Lewis says, we keeping him. We got to show the world that he can still throw. Plus, we need him. We have 11 to 12 games after the bye week with no break. And that's exactly right, Christy. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and because at the end of the day, who in here that's watching this show can honestly say you feel comfortable with Easton Stick as your starting quarterback if, God forbid, something were to happen to Michael Penix? Who can say that? Oh, no, we can't say that. We can't say that it's one of those situations where we're good with Easton Stick leading us out here week 12. That Easton Stick is going to be the guy that's leading the charge out of the tunnel for week 12. Exactly. We can't do it. Chris said, what near 40s veteran is ever 100? You ain't never lied about that. Dre in here, Dre says he turning 19. What's going on, Dre? Turned 19. Dre still ain't able to drink yet, bro. Go. Shouts out to you, man. Turning 31. Boy, I hope you're enjoying your time, fam. Don't do it too big now. Don't do it too big. Sterling Woods says, if we had gone out after the Saints game, what could have been? Boy, what you talking about, bro? What you talking about? If it would have been a situation where he had actually sit out, Michael Penix would have came in. And the crazy thing is that if he would have just took some time to rest his body, right? If he would have took some time to legitimately rest his body, man, ain't no telling what could have happened. We probably would have made it to the. I mean, think about it. We took Washington to the wire. We should have beat them. Only thing is we didn't call a timeout. Washington was in the NFC Championship. We beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and I hate to be the one to say this all the time, but how often do we beat the team or almost beat the team that wins the Super Bowl? It happens all the time. It happens over and over and over again. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, Amy in here says, Pimp C. What the world? What you talking about? Well, he said a guy would have had Tupac and Biggie still living. It would be no Lil Wayne and Whack Jake. Man, you crazy. First of all, Biggie would have loved Lil Wayne, in all honesty. Second of all, if we look at this, if we looked at it objectively, Biggie only had 2 albums, bro. Biggie only had 2 albums. If we look at it objectively, can we really say Biggie is one of the greatest of all time? Biggie only had 2 albums. Legit? Can we say? Let me ask you this: have you listened to any Biggie before? Have you listened to any Biggie before the Diddler? You tell me how you feel like that sound was. There's a reason why Biggie blew up whenever he did it. They was riding on them flip beats, those old school beats before Kanye West was doing them. And I mean, Biggie just had of course, Biggie has a good flow, but have you listened to any Biggie before he joined Bad Boy? There's a reason why a lot of people haven't. That's all I'm saying. King Richard says, Lil Wayne made Jay-Z question himself on that encore. Boy, what you talk about? What you talking about, Bo? What you talking about? Or that show me what you got. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's the Diddler. Yes, the Diddler. Christian says in the NFL, there are 4 ways teams can allow a quarterback to play. Allowing the QB1 to rest is one of them. And we're going to see some defensive rotation at some time after the bye week. I'm hoping that you're right. I'm hoping that's because we're so far ahead. And we kind of got the division on lock, Christy. If that's the case, I'm more than happy with that. Right. And once again, it's like I said, y'all, Kirk Cousins, like, he's in a perfect situation. And someone mentioned earlier, he still hasn't acknowledged that he's 100%. Like Coach Christie said, what near 40-year-old quarterback is 100%. But this is the best situation that you got where, hey, you're literally able to sit, chill out. You live in Atlanta. It's not like you're living in Minnesota. No offense to anyone who watches this who are from Minnesota. No offense, but it's not. Come on, Atlanta, Minnesota. You're near your wife's family, right? I mean, so you're in a great situation. You could legit sit out this year, really rest up, and be 100%. So whenever the Falcons do cut you next year, you could go to the next team for the highest bidder. You could go with a clean bill of health, and you're good to go. So look, it's one of those things. Dre the Bosser says our window back open. Aints window is shut, locked, and boarded up like a hurricane. Daggone. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, but the Aints looking rough. I forgot. I think Red Swarm said something about Big Q projected 12-5. I don't know. I need to call and check on my friend because I don't know where he's getting that from. Jamal ATL says, man, Wayne's mixtape run was legendary. That alone puts him exactly. I mean, no ceilings, the drought, the dedication, those 3 series right there. I mean, come on, Bo. King Richard says, Big Low, we got to whip the Panthers this year. They've been talking, boy, I heard them, Bo. They feeling themselves. The boys feeling themselves so much. Then you got your boy Xavier Leggett. He out there in Glorilla video. Like, look, you need to be worried about Jesse Bates. You need to be worried about AJ Terrell. You sit here doggone feeding Glorilla strawberries. You got some more important things to worry about. Sit here doggone, shoot, you up here in the music video. And every time somebody do a doggone trail ride, I'm seeing Xavier Leggett. Like, look, you got some more things that you need to be worried about now. Purple Hayes in here. He says, y'all might trade him mid-season to a team who needs a starter for draft. Exactly, Purple Hayes. And that's what I was saying. Like, look, I mean, he's in a great situation right now. Yeah, I mean, he like, once again, he's getting paid $50 million. So I mean, why are we? If I'm the management for the Falcons, I'm sitting here like, why are we even going back and forth, Kirk? Kirk, why are we even doing this? Jay says, King Richie, I know, right? All the time. He said, tell me about it, bro. He says, all because Bryce Minnie Mouse, won 2 of the 3 freaking games at the end of the year last year. Bro, come on. The boys is feeling themselves. They went out and drafted a wide receiver, based off of that last game, thinking that they're just going to torch the NFC South. They got so many other things to worry about. They got so many other things to worry about. Now all they're gonna have is a loaded wide receiver room with Bryce Young throwing a whole bunch of picks, because now he's gonna be feeling like he got to force the ball to all these different guys for them to make plays. The Panthers don't understand how they messed themselves up. They don't understand how they messed themselves up, but we're gonna let them feel like they got it. Iron Mike in here says not a 12-5. Yeah, boy. Yeah, Jada Boston says when we beat them, I want a remix to Punk's Jump Up to Beat Down. Daggone. Oh man, look here. I'm gonna tell y'all something, boy. The remix is gonna be flowing this year. I'm gonna be hitting them upside the head. Tony Wright's in here. He says Antonio Brown is wanted by the Miami-Dade Police Department for what in the world? Daggone, Tonyo, you doing it like that? Good grief. Nicholas says, man, I think everyone used to listen to DOA by Lil Wayne on No Ceilings. Yes. He used to spit on Band from TV also. You couldn't touch mixtape. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, and I know Will Avey, he said that if Biggie and Tupac were still here, said there wouldn't be no Wayne. Bro, Biggie had flow. Tupac had poetry, bro. Like, Tupac made you feel stuff. I'm going to tell you something. Biggie wasn't touching no Wayne. No. And as far as feeling something, go listen to real rap. Whenever y'all get a chance, if you want to know if Wayne can make you feel something as well, go listen to real rap, because this rap is real. I hope you ain't too proud to cry, and I hope you know you ain't never too loud to die. Y'all go listen to real rap on YouTube. I'm telling you, you want to feel something. You be sitting there crying. Michael in here, what in the world, Bo? Christian says, Kirk rather play quarterback too to swamp it out in New Orleans. That's rough right there, boy. It's hard times in New Orleans. He says he didn't go down there and show a buffalo letter said, "Dang, go." See, look here. You know Coach Christian from the Gulf. You know that's that Mississippi talk right there. Oh man, Jamal says Panthers need to settle down. Doesn't Bryce Young have less than 10 career wins in 2 years? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the truth, right? Because I know he got benched last year, and did he get benched the year before that? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the case. So yeah, I think he does have less than 10 career wins. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you know, the reason why I said, hey, let's go live tonight is because, you know, we're talking about the schedule for training camp. And look, I mean, that is, you know, that's what we're going to be, you know, that's what we're going to be enjoying. We're going to be enjoying, you know, watching Jalen Walker go out here and do what he does. We're going to enjoy watching James Pierce and say, hey, you know, I can see them lining up beside each other. You know, James Pierce lining up as a sub edge with Jalen Walker lining up as an outside linebacker, or I can see on third downs dropping Jalen Walker back as a Mike linebacker. And, you know, you might run some Sims, or you might run some double A gap pressures with Jalen Walker and Caden Ellis, because, I mean, Jalen Walker is just a more athletic Caden Ellis. All right, we're going to be talking about all that. We're going to get a chance to see what the Falcons have been putting together. That's the beautiful thing about it, guys. So, once again, I encourage you, make sure that you get a chance to go out to training camp if you hadn't had a chance to go out there yet, because it's a fun time. It's a fun time. John Person's in here. John Person says, good to see you, Coach. Much love, my ATL. What's going on, John Person? Look, that's a brother right there. From Memphis, Tennessee. You know, as a matter of fact, got a chance to chill out with him out there in Birmingham. And then, you know, he went out on the Rise Up Tour cruise. If y'all, man, I have to tell y'all something, boy, Rise Up Tour, big things. You know, bro, we have our own tour. I mean, we have our own cruise. You know, we got our own tour bus, and you know, so John Person, he went out there on the Rise Up Tour cruise, and you know, posting all the pictures, making me jealous. You know, I seen him at Birmingham. He was like, "Man, coach, I had 3 girls chasing me. You know, on the cruise ship. If you too want to be like John Person, make sure that you go on the next Rise Up Tour cruise, so you can have 3 girls chasing you on the cruise ship." What's going on, Bo? But yeah, I mean, so that's where we're at. You know, I was just talking about, you know, the defense. I've been busy talking about Kyle Pitts and Kirk Cousins this whole time. But yes, you know, you got a whole bunch of. This is the first time where we've been in a situation where we're going to go into training camp and we know that we're going to have to let people go that we don't want to let go. This is the first time in, I would say, ever. I would think this is the first time ever where we're going to go into training camp and we're going into training camp with options. Think about that. Look at the different positions. Let's look at linebacker. Anybody in the chat, can y'all name all the linebackers that we have on the roster? Think about it. You got Caden Ellis. You got Troy Anderson. You got Divine Diablo. Now look at that. Think about that now, y'all. You want to have 2 middle linebackers on the field at one time. Somebody either going to get sitting on the bench or somebody going to be, you know, somebody going to have to go on up the road. But you also got J.D. Bertrand. You think they're going to keep all 40 linebackers on a 52-man roster? Think about that. Think about safety. Safety, you got Jesse Bates. You got Xavier Watts. You got Billy Bowman, who plays safety and he plays nickel. You got Jordan Fuller. You got DeMarco Helms. If I'm not mistaken, don't you still have Abernathy on the team? I mean, somebody has to go. Cornerback, Billy Bowman, A.J. Terrell, Clark Phillips, Mike Hughes, Mike Ford, D. Alford. Somebody gonna have to go. Miller gang, what's going on, fam? Hope y'all doing good, Mo. Much love to you, man. Much love to you. Somebody has to go. So this is the first time where we've gone into training camp with options. Jamal said, "Get ready to pack your bags, Troy." The best ability. That's you're right. You're right. And thank you so much. I guess that's Zilix. But yes, Kobe Bryant. Don't forget Kobe Bryant in that cornerback room too. Somebody got to go. So A.J. Terrell, Mike Hughes, Mike Ford, Clark Phillips, D. Alford, Kobe Bryant, Billy Bowman. Who you keeping? Honestly, who you keeping? I mean, for example, D. Alford, shouts out to Go, man. Like Go, he actually didn't have a bad year last year. Now he finished, he kind of stumbled down the gate now, but at the end of the day, that old Griffin boy played some ball a lot of them games. But at the end of the season, especially in that Washington game, I watched it last night. He was driving the struggle bus. But at the end of the day, somebody got to go. And in the words of Biggie, somebody got to go. If I go, you got to go. I mean, look. Christian said, "Big Low, I'm telling you, our practice squad is going to be strong. We did a good job rotating through the 53 and the practice. And you're definitely right about that. And you want your practice squad to be strong. You want to be one of them situations where you constantly hear about other teams sniffing around your practice squad trying to get them off your team to put them on their main roster. That's what you want. You want to have that type of developmental system. And if it's one of those cases where, you know, we have people trying to be taken off our practice squad, that means that Terry Fontenot did his job. Because think about it. Now the practice squad rules, they're not the same as they used to be. Well, I forgot, what was it, first and second year players? Remember, Julio Jones was on the practice squad in Philadelphia. It don't matter now. You could be however old. You could have been in the league for 15 years. You could be Kirk Cousins in the practice squad. It don't matter. So look, I mean, that's something that you got to consider now. Christy says Troy gets hurt this year. I don't see him playing the rest of the season. I mean, I told Berto this the other day. Look, I mean, JD Bertrand is a dog. Like I said, I was watching that Washington game last night. JD Bertrand, he ain't nothing to be played with. Unfortunately, he just had a terrible scheme that he had to work with. I remember one time, Jimmy Lake had a man lined up 7 yards off the ball. I'm like, well, daggum, how's the man supposed to make plays if he's lined up 7 yards off the ball as a linebacker? But I see him come up one time. He came up in the sim blitz, and he blew that running back up, and I mean, he straight armed him, and I mean, he lit Jaden Daniels up. I'm like, okay, then JD, you doing it like that? You got some dogs on this team now. You got some dogs. A Needs in here says Kirk is Little Wayne-Bo. Heck, I mean, how am I wrong? How am I wrong? Kirk Cousins equals Little Wayne. He equals Little Wayne. Little Wayne, really good at what he does, but is Little Wayne still good to do it for a whole album? I know he used to. I mean, like I said, I still bump album cuts of the Carter to this day. Blood blowing, marijuana blowing. I don't give a lovely mother. I still bump Blue. I still bump Wayne to this day. But is Lil Wayne still album material, or is he feature material? Same thing with Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing with Kirk Cousins. Michael says, look, if Troy gets hurt, he's cut. I'm not knocking you. King Richie says, then JD and Watts played together so they can feed. Exactly. They're going to feed off each other. Michael says, Chubby Wayne. AD says, nah, man, Kirk like Big Sean or Wale. Look, I don't know if anybody's seen the clip where Wale confronted Casanat at the BET Awards, because Casanat didn't know who Wale was backstage. You know, egos, boy, egos. Look, one thing that I learned in the entertainment industry is that folks be having some egos, man. If I ain't learned nothing since I've been a content creator, folks be having some egos, boy. You hear these jokers, they be talking about themselves in third person and all kind of stuff. I be like, there you go, boy. You doing it like that, boy? I think Casanat just spoke to him backstage, and then you went on about his business, and Wale was like, "Hey man, that was messed up. What you did to me backstage." He's like, "Wait, what you talking about? Oh, my bad, dog, my bad." Egos, but Dre the Boston says he needs to be put on the Big Bad Wolf joint on music platforms. I'm tired of going through YouTube to hear it. Hey, that's it. Jamal says Mike Ford might be gone. D. Alford and Clark Phillips can be good rotational pieces. One thing that you want to consider is that you got a guy like D. Alford. One thing that he's gonna do, he's gonna play hard for the city, right? Like he's gonna, he Griffin, Georgia product. He for right up the road. He's gonna try to put on for the city. Shouts out to Leonard Floyd. Have y'all seen Leonard Floyd in practice? Leonard Floyd's looking like a beast. He done put on good 10 pounds of muscle. So, look, at the end of the day, guys, we got to make sure, if you get a chance, if you're doing one thing, make sure that you get out of training camp. I'm telling you, you will not. Well, you know what? I ain't gonna say that you won't be disappointed, because that heat might disappoint you. That heat might disappoint you. Look here, I do need y'all to do a country boy favor. Make sure that you hit that like button. You hit that like button for me. I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. Let them know there's a little country boy over here sitting around talking about sports and coming on and chopping it up with y'all. So I know a few people hit me up. They was like, "Hey, Lo, like, why you we ain't seen you in a couple of weeks." And my reasoning is, I believe it's a situation where I ain't finna sit up here and take up no more of y'all time than I have to. I know that y'all folks are busy with family. I know that y'all busy with work. Y'all busy with all kinds of other stuff. And I don't want to sit here and regurgitate the same thing to y'all over and over and over and over again. Right? So I don't want to be one of them situations where it's like, dang, Loden came on here again to tell us that he thinks the defense is going to be top 15. Did he just say that on Tuesday? I don't want that to be the case. Well, Amy says, we need the sweep of this division. Look, if we get that, Bo, I would definitely love that. Jay Murphy says, me personally, I hope and pray and wish Mike Ford makes the team, though beloved, because I like him whenever we had the first time around. Then the Seattle Seahawks snatched him off the practice squad. Look here, I mean, if he could come in and do what he needs to do, I just need people to come in and do their job. At the end of the day, that's all that I need. You got your guys like Kobe Bryant who are coming in and making a post about Lamar Jackson and everything like that. Like, look, you can do all that, but whenever you come in here, you better do what you need to do. You better do what you need to do. So there was also something else that I wanted to talk about. I seen a lot of people comment about on social media. So during OTAs, the Atlanta Falcons were practicing. Shouts out Dre. Dre said, "Yes, I do want to see Dorless, and I'm also excited about Rook as well." So during OTAs, the Atlanta Falcons were at practice. I think it was the day after we went there. Matthew Bergeron, David Onyemata got into a fight. They got into a dust up. If anybody, if I'm not mistaken, did anybody else watching hear about that? If you heard about the Matthew Bergeron and David Onyemata fight, put a 5 in the chat. If y'all heard about that. If you heard about that fight, put a 5 in the chat. But Matthew Bergeron, and for all the people who didn't hear about it, Michael said he heard. Okay, perfect. So for all the people who didn't hear about it, Matthew Bergeron, David Onyemata got in a fight. And they said that Raheem Morris separated them. And they said that he took everybody inside. He stopped practice and took everybody inside. Okay, Dre, Michael, Cornelius, John, Southside, Jamal, they all said they heard about it. Okay, perfect. So they said that after he separated them, he took the whole team inside and, pretty much away from the media, right? What's up? What's going on, home team? Home team with Blackberries in here. He says, "Yeet, home team." Yeet. Oh, man, Deshaun called he copied you, Bo. You see that, don't you? But so after he took everybody inside, I've heard different reports. Some people said that he took them inside and they just stayed inside and had a kumbaya moment. Some people said that he brought them back outside. But I just want to know what is everyone's opinion on that? So over social media, a lot of people have said, "Hey, the fact that he stopped practice because two guys got in a fight is terrible. It shows soft culture. It's football. Guys are supposed to fight. So if you did not like Raheem Morris stopping the fight, put a 1 in the chat. If it's a situation where, you feel like there was nothing wrong with him stopping the fight, put a 2 in the chat. I just did. This is a social experiment. I just want to know what y'all are thinking. I ain't even finna give my opinion after I see what y'all think. So if you feel like it's a situation where you didn't like him stopping the fight, put a 1 in the chat. But if you didn't see nothing wrong with it, put a 2 in the chat. Because I've seen a few people come on and they said, this team finally had some fire, and you just stop a fight, and everything like that. And I just kind of want to see what everybody's thinking. Christy says completion will bring out the goon in them. Got to channel it in a positive way. I ain't knocking on that. Michael says, same team got to stop it before they put pads on. There you go. So if it's a situation where you didn't like it, put a 1 in the chat. 2, if you was like, hey, you just stopped the fight. You just stopped the fight. So Dre the Boxer, he says 2. Said they don't mind them stopping the fight. Christy Lewis, Southside Ricky, Jamal, Doug, they all say 2. They don't mind them stopping the fight. Dre Murphy says 2. Dre Boxer says, I like him stopping it, but I'm glad that there was a fight. Frustration means practice ain't a cakewalk. Yes, that is completely correct. Completely correct. Bird's eye views in here. What's going on, Bo? Southside Ricky says they should be doing that against their opponents. I ain't knocking you on that. This, if you've ever been in a football locker room, teammates fight. Teammates fight. Sterling Wood says 2. He don't see nothing wrong with it. Blackberry says 3. People reading the situation wrong. Okay. And Blackberry, if you don't mind, tell me what you mean whenever you say people reading the situation wrong. I just want to know where you're coming from. You said people reading the situation wrong. But look, I pretty much agree with all of these statements that everybody's made, right? It's one of them situations where, yes, practice isn't supposed to be easy. Practice is supposed to be frustrating. You've been hitting the same guy or been thudding the same guy. It's not a situation where you actually hitting because you ain't in pass. You've been thudding the same guy over and over and over again. I feel like I need to say pause there. I'm gonna say pause. You been, so you and the same guy, y'all been going at it. Pause. For the last few days in OTAs, and it's one of them situations where we haven't been playing football for the last 4-5 months, and I might not be in the best of shape, so I'm frustrated. It's Georgia. It's kind of muggy. It's hot. Yes, I'm frustrated, and then okay, it's gotten chippy. Somebody's talking. It don't just get chippy. It don't get chippy out of practice, and nobody said nothing. Somebody's talking, which is a good thing. You need to be talking, because I've only came across a few teams who whoop up on you and nobody says nothing. Now, those teams that do whip up on you and nobody says nothing, oh yeah, you better be looking out. But somebody's talking, and that's a good thing. Now, the fact of the matter is, me, myself, I don't think there was nothing wrong with Raheem Morris stopping that practice. And I had a chance to come on here and talk about it. Blackberry, he says he didn't stop the scuffle. Teammates did. He circled everybody together for a pep talk about it. They resumed practice. That is all. Exactly. I am not mad at whoever stopped the fight and stopped the practice. First of all, this is OTAs. This isn't training camp. This isn't even mini camp. So it's not a situation where it's even that serious. We're not even in we ain't even in the trenches yet. But fact of the matter is for all of the people out here who says, I can't believe he stopped the fight and ended practice. And that's a situation where it's like you're creating a soft team. You guys understand that him being the head coach, he's in charge of taking care of everybody, not just making the big decisions, but just taking care of everybody. Shouts out to Unknown Man. Of course, I remember you, Bo. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing good. But he's in charge of everyone's safety as well. Because imagine if Raheem Morris would have let him go at it a little bit, like our coaches used to do with us back in the day. Stop that fight, and then turn around and let a couple of reps go by and let them go at it again. Somebody torn their pec. What do you think would have been the story then? The story would have been, why did Raheem Morris continue practice? Why did Raheem Morris let these two guys get near each other? Now we got Matthew Bergeron with a torn pec. He ain't going to be able to practice for the next 3 weeks. He's going to be coming into training camp behind the 8 ball. Now, David Onyemata, he fell fighting Matthew Bergeron towards ACL. And now we're in a bad situation. And we let go of Grady Jarrett. And now we don't have David Onyemata either. So I'm not going to sit here. I feel like it's one of those situations where people who say, yeah, they should have just let them fight. And why you stop practice? I don't understand the logic behind that. I feel like that's a situation where I'm trying to think of a way to put this eloquently. I feel like that's I guess I could say like a meathead way of looking at it, and not looking at the situation logically. Like not looking at the situation with the players' health in mind. Because you're on the football field, you'll get into it with your teammate and everything. And by the end of practice, you'll holler at them or whatever while y'all walking off the field, and it's squashed. It's behind you. But also, while you're on the football field in the midst of practice, I mean, once again, egos and testosterone gets in the way. Somebody's going to push it farther than it should go. So I think it's one of those situations where, you got to look at the situation logically. And I think Raheem Morris did in that case. Dre Boxer says, former Atlanta Falcons tryout, Big Low knows exactly what's going on at camp. I hear you, Bo. I hear you. Purple Hayes says, is Raheem on the hot seat this year, trying to show some control, perhaps? Yes, he is definitely on the hot seat this year. If he doesn't get it right this year, it's going to be some slow singing and flower bringing. Dre the Boxer says, if y'all watch the Raw Room podcast, we just had a player on there that said he got injured from a locker room scuffle before the Super. Exactly. Look, it's happening. My little cousin got in the locker room. So I ain't even say who I have. I don't want to say he slapped somebody. My little cousin got a locker room scuffle. Bro, the locker room scuffles get crazy, bro. It ain't no joke. Michael says eloquently. Big Low using big words. Oh man, Unknown Man says, bro, I hope you're doing great. Keep making dope videos. I wish the best. I'm gonna be I appreciate that, Unknown Man. Much love to you, bro. Also, Doug says, Big Low, Penix throwing beautiful balls at practice. Bro, I'm telling you, I've been to so many training camps and OTAs and everything. Michael Penix throws the best ball. It's the best throwing display that I've ever seen in an Atlanta Falcons practice. I've seen Matt Ryan throw. I've seen Michael Vick throw. I've seen Desmond Ridder throw. He throws even better ball than Desmond Ridder. Can you believe that? But he throws the best ball that I've seen out of everybody. In terms of arm strength, and I think Uncle Steve mentioned this a few weeks ago. Jeff George, and Michael Vick are the only two guys that I've seen throw the ball with the same type of speed and acceleration as Michael Vick. I mean, I'm sorry, it's Michael Penix. But bro, just the way the ball gets from point A to point B, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're gonna be a whole bunch of broken fingers by the time it's all said and done. All right, Blackberry, y'all take it easy now, bro. It's gonna be a whole bunch of broken fingers by the time it's all said and done. So, yeah, man. Well, look at here. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming on and chopping it up with Old Country Boy. We're going to get a chance to try to hit up training camp a couple of days. And look, like I said, hopefully y'all can make it out too. And look, preseason's coming. It's right around the corner. Look, y'all, we almost here. Y'all know we're going to be bringing a lot of great content in the meantime. In the meantime, I do need y'all to be safe. Make sure you don't do anything that I would do. And look here, Bo. Y'all keep it in between the mayonnaise and the mustard. Y'all take it easy, Bo. What in the world?